We have one presentation today. This is the ATV study with Jackie Mahoney from Recreation, Forestry, and Parks. So go ahead, Jackie.
So we did a off-highway vehicle study with JCC and Des Moines Associates. And the full report was emailed out to everybody. And we're going to go with a summary if I can get the clicker to work. Technical difficulties. Just click to the next one. I'm a jinx with technology, just telling you right now. Just forward it, it's fine.
I'm trying.
I crashed
okay.
the whole system. It's
Jackie let me drive her 4x4 one day, and I
working.
may or may not have backed into a tree.
Yeah, horrible numbers.
I have all part of my floor.
Okay. So from the study, we pulled from our permit sales, and then JCC did a one-day on the trails survey as well. And you can see from the map on the right where all our respondents came from. The light blue is one, the highest is, I think, I can't read the file number, 5939.
Yeah, 40.
Anyways, obviously the biggest majority of people are local, but it spreads out to as far west as Ohio and east to New Hampshire. I know from our own permit sales, our range is wider than that, but this is from those that responded to the study. So obviously demographics, 75% male, 76% male, 25%, 24% female. It give, income on the bottom left. It's a wide range. So on that, most everybody owns. The biggest thing that I like to see was enforcement. 61% said that they saw enforcement at least every time they were out. So I think that's a good statistic that we're seeing. Could we use more? Probably, but at least they're saying they're seeing them. And overall experience has excellent to good. So we're doing, in my opinion, we're doing a good job. So some of the numbers that we requested were on their purchase, what they spent, just to kind of see what things are costing. There's a small percentage, 9%, that spent less than $5,000 on their vehicles, but more than 21% spend more than $20,000 on their vehicle. A lot of the side-by-sides are running $15,000 to $20,000, and that's why you see, 59% spend a lot of money. So the other thing we wanted to see is where they're buying it. Quite a bit was in New York, but there's quite a bit that was outside of the state. We are hearing from our local salespeople that people are going out of state to buy their off-highway vehicles because then they don't have to pay the sales tax, because you can't register them here either. You see figure 9, are your off-highway vehicles registered in New York State? 57% are, but 33% are absolute no, 1% not sure, and then we have a percentage that some are and some aren't because they own more than one type. So, and the reason they're not registered in New York State really wasn't addressed. Could be because we have reciprocity, so if they're coming in from out of state, they don't have to register here. But the bigger reason is the increase in sales in the side-by-sides. So they did a quick summary that we figure there are a total of 6,086 off-highway vehicle trail users every year. Local users spend $30,626, they consider it's 30,626 days of using the trail. There are 71,460 non-local users spending days on the trail. So we're seeing more out of the area people than local residents. Local residents meaning Lewis County.
So Jack, would you just drill down into how they got to 6,086?
So what they did was the percentage of the survey results that said they were a permit holder or not a permit holder. And then we based it on, we know what our permit holders, the number of those that we had that were permit holders or 3-day passes. So the small percentage that said they did not have a permit led us to this number. We've had this discussion where I think this is very underrepresented because they only spent 1 day on the trail getting non-permit users, and they didn't keep those numbers separate to see what the percentage was for just those users.
How many respondents did you have? I didn't see that.
There was over 1,500. I don't know if it was in the original report that I sent out. I didn't do it on the summary.
That's fine.
But, you know, we had quite a few of our permit holders that did it. Like I said, there was only 150 captured on the trail. So the non-permit holders ratio was very small. So that's saying that everybody out there on the trail system is buying the permits. And I don't believe that the ratio they've got is correct.
Well, it's also self-reporting, right? So
Yes.
you're asking them,
So-
did you buy your permit? Oh, sure I did, yeah.
So it's not, you know, to me that number's skewed a little bit. From what they reported, they figure a non-local spends $93 a day. That leads to 97 jobs in the area with a total employee earnings of $2,817,469 and a total sales of $8,277,850. So the annual tax revenue that Lewis County will see is $140,563. That's pulled from occupancy tax, sales tax, and property tax, because they answered whether they live here, if they own a second home here, or if they come and stay. So kind of splits it out again. We can kind of see the percentage of each, the property tax, the sales tax, and the occupancy tax from what they reported. They also reported a potential revenue for unregistered vehicles as $115,307. But the sales tax potential is 1.8 million. So the overall potential could be 2.1, but that doesn't include the direct sales of the permits, which were at about 207,000. So average spending of new off-highway vehicle users, it splits it by lodging, food, shopping, gas, total 6.6 million. If you go direct to indirect and induced, it jumps it up to 8.2 million. But if you include the local users, it's 28.4 million approximately. So obviously the off-highway system has an impact in Lewis County. Jobs, they're split there on the right-hand side. It's not just the bars, places to eat and drink. It's a lot of motor vehicle and parts dealers, a lot of accommodations. So they are contributing in other ways. And that's all I have, but if you have questions. And it was a brief summary. I like to keep it sweet, so short.
Just gotta teach Ryan that, that's okay.
Well, he told me I had 10 minutes max, and that was with questions, so.
Jackie, does motor vehicle and parts dealers, is that just in Lewis County, or is that money that they would spend anywhere? So if they get their parts from another?
I think it was asked in a way as while they're here riding.
Okay.
Breakdowns and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The economic impact figures are just economic impact for Lewis County.
Okay.
We didn't ask them to extrapolate on, other places they might spend money. So everything with economic impact is just Lewis County.
Okay.
Right, so, if you consider the whole North Country, Oswego has trails, St. Lawrence, Jefferson, and Franklin all have trails. The overall in the region.
Do we connect with Oswego?
We do through Jefferson, yeah.
But, back to the numbers and extrapolating it from basically the known permit numbers that we already knew, and the fact that it got pushed off until the last weekend of the season, I think, the true impact is much larger than what this
Right.
study.
When you consider of the 1,500 people taking this, only 150 were not done directly through our email list. And then they extrapolated the 150 as the whole group. I think there's a lot of non-registered, non-permitted users in this, and the numbers would be higher.
My guess would be there's probably, 30–40% of the users don't have a trail permit.
Right. There's a lot of people, we all know it, all of Diana, New Bremen, Krogan is open roads, and people use it daily. So that economic impact isn't even brought into this. There's camps purchased up there as well for this reason. We've seen it, we've all seen it in our towns. You see an influx.
So we did send this to Park Strategies, who is the firm in Albany that's been working with us on doing a little more advocacy on this issue in Albany, and they were very impressed. Between this and the polling that we've had done through JCC, the last 2 or 3 annual surveys, we really have our ducks in a row in terms of building a quantitative case, more so than they indicated other clients that they've worked with. So we've done a good job building the foundation for why we're advocating for what we are. So I think this was a good step. I agree with Larry and Jackie that it's not perfect, but the methodology is good. It's something that I would have no problem putting in front of someone, and Camoin Associates and the Community Center for Community Studies at Jefferson Community College, great reputation. We can put this in front of a lawmaker, in front of somebody in Albany, and they have to respect the numbers that we put here, even though they may be a little light, in fact. So I think this was a great step. You combine this with the polling that we've done the last couple of years, asking people specific questions about ATVs in Lewis County through the annual community survey, and we've built a pretty good quantitative case for some of the reforms that we're asking for. So the question is, should we try to take a little bit of what we've learned and maybe try to do a second revised report in 2023 or 2024, and try to build off of this a little bit. And that might be something to consider for sure.
Maybe some of the questions that we didn't think to ask in this version.
All right, any other thoughts from the committee? Questions or comments? Okay, great. Thank you very much, Jackie.
Thank you.